All right, welcome to the JV podcast on this Wednesday, the night before the Ncaa tournament, which is to a lot of people a huge night because you gear up for tomorrow, which starts at 12 o'clock, goes wall-to-wall action all night. We got a lot to get to here today, and we're so glad to be here with you on the JV Sports Podcast as we get ready for this great tradition here in the country, the NCAA tournament. We had two great games yesterday, St. Francis, PA, and Alabama State. And we had North Carolina and San Diego State. Let's first get to that, John, as a lot of people have been on North Carolina that they shouldn't have been in the tournament because they didn't have a great season.
Yep.
But let's remember, North Carolina is a brand. They're a brand. So them being in the tournament doesn't really hurt anybody. It just makes it look better, in my opinion. But they came out last night and they slammed the doors off of San Diego State.
Yep. That game was basically over at halftime.
It was over. I think, it's funny to say this, and a lot of people have probably said this already. The first game was better than the second game.
It came right down to the end.
It came right down to the end. And, these are two schools that not a lot of people have heard of.
Yep.
And turned out to be one of the best first four games we've seen in a while.
Yep.
St. Francis turned the ball over a lot. Alabama State had a very good second half.
Yep.
So I think that turned out to be a way better game than the North Carolina game because North Carolina, R.J. Davis, he's going to be a great pro. Turned out to be really a one-sided game for most of it. It really has. So we got two first four games are in the books already. The first four games are tonight. You got Mount St. Mary's and American, and you got Xavier and Texas. Who do you got?
Update on Mount St. Mary's first.
You got I got Mount St. Mary's too.
Here's an update. It's 44-36 Mount St. Mary's with 41 seconds to go in the first half.
Okay. Yeah, I think Mount St. Mary's is a better team. A lot of people had American, but I think Mount St. Mary's is the better program. But we'll see how the rest of the game progresses. But I think the game tonight is going to be a lot better. Xavier's been playing very good basketball of late, and they're brilliantly coached. But again, Texas is a really good program. They've had good history. They're coached well. I think this is going to be a close game. I really do.
Yeah, that should be good. Usually the Big East teams do pretty well in this.
Yeah.
Remember the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the Alabama State game last night. How about that? You win at the buzzer, and now you get a date with the number one overall seed in the tournament, Auburn.
And a lot of people have had money on Alabama State. I don't think Auburn is going to make this a one. I think this is going to be a closer game than people think because we've seen a lot of 16-1 upsets in the past.
Yep. Only two in the men's tournament?
We've had a couple.
I think it's more in the women's.
Yeah, so it could happen. I got money on Alabama State. I think Alabama State will be. I got points on Alabama State. I think Alabama State will make it a close game throughout most of the second half.
We'll see.
I'd like to see one upset. I think you're going to see one upset. I think you'll see one seed bounce in the first round.
Really?
I do. I really do. And I think if it's going to be a one seed, I think it's going to be Auburn. I really do.
Well, Duke weighing on the winner of the game going on right now.
Duke will play the winner of
American Mount St. Mary.
American. And I believe the winner of the Xavier Texas game will play. Who are they going to play? Who are they playing?
I'm looking.
Bracket on my head right now.
Illinois.
Illinois, yeah. And Illinois is a tough team. But
Yep.
remember, Illinois is hit or miss. So one night they could be good, one night they could be off. So you got to watch out for Illinois.
Hmm.
But I gotta say, I'm very impressed with North Carolina. I think North Carolina winning that first game is a lot easier than it's gonna be a lot easier than playing Ole Miss. No, I'm sorry. I think North Carolina beating San Diego State makes it a lot easier for them to beat Ole Miss.
Hmm.
I think they could beat Ole Miss. I really do. And I think they have a pretty good chance of going far in this tournament. And remember, a lot of people were like, why are they in the tournament? They suck. No. North Carolina did not suck, first of all. They're 22-12. Okay, they lost tough games.
3 times to Duke.
3 times at Duke, but Duke's a 1 seed. They're the best team in the country. I mean, North Carolina is North Carolina. I mean, that's all there is to it. They might have not won all the quad 1 games that they were supposed to, but they won a big game that they needed to win, and that was the first 4 game against San Diego State. So, and they didn't only win it; they blew the doors off San Diego State.
Yep. Speaking of, by the way, the whole thing with people not thinking what North Carolina should be in. Did you see the whole thing with the West Virginia governor today?
I did, and he has a right. He has a right. I mean, they should have been in West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think the North Carolina chairman? Do I think the North Carolina AD being in the committee was an unfair advantage? Yes. But it is what it is. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
North Carolina proved everyone wrong by winning that first game by a wide margin.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's get to the bracket now. So while John pulls it up, this JV Sports Podcast is once again brought to you by our good friends at Sarabo Broadcasting. You could grab Sarabo Broadcasting Podcast anywhere in your radio car, wherever you are, on the Spotify, YouTube, Facebook Live, or any other podcast application. And for the JV Podcast, you can send your emails to the JV Sports Podcast at yahoo.com. That's JB Sports Podcast at yahoo.com. We won't get to any emails today because this is a special edition of the tournament bracket. And as
it will take a while.
It's going to take a while. And as you see, we're live from the studios of the Ncaa.
Yep.
I believe where are we, John? I don't even know what town we're in.
Neither do I.
Yeah, we just were told to come here.
I believe Jay Wright's somewhere behind us as we do this.
Good old Jay Wright. He's one of the best coaches ever.
Before we get into this, might as well bring up that Villanova fires his replacement 3 years in. After they last got to this thing.
All right, so there we go. There's the bracket. Now,
Right.
is there a way we could zoom in?
Let me see.
Like where we could have just where they could hear us, but it's zoomed in fully.
Let's see, maybe hit Zoom.
Like we said with the JMB Sports Podcast, we're figuring out new technical things where we can make the show better. We have new things coming, guests, calls. We're gonna have calls in the future. There's a lot we're gonna get to as the summer comes.
How does that look, or should I bring in a little further?
That's good.
All right. How you want to do this, Brand? You want to do one half, I do the other half?
Okay, so you read it. You read out the games, and I will do one half. You do another half.
All right. We'll start with obviously the number 1 seed, Auburn, Alabama State, that we were just discussing.
All right, you want to do the left side? I'll do the right side.
How about you start with the left? I'll do the right.
We could just do every other game. Okay, sounds good.
Right.
Auburn, Alabama. I told you at the beginning of the show. I think Alabama State is going to win this game, not by a lot, but I think they're going to win by 3 points.
All right. So now I get this one. The Louisville Creighton. I think Louisville will take this one. Gonna be close, but I don't like Creighton that much. out of the Big East.
What scares me about Creighton is Kalkbrenner. That's the only thing that scares me. And Ashworth could shoot the three well. But besides that, they don't really have that much depth.
Yeah, Colbrenner or whatever his name was, right?
And Kalkbrenner, yeah, he's pretty good. Really.
All right, now you get Michigan against University of California, San Diego making their tournament debut.
A lot of people have thought of UC San Diego as a Cinderella run this tournament. I'm definitely going to go with UC San Diego as well. I feel like UC San Diego is coming in hot and feel like they can win against Michigan, who I feel like is, so-so.
All right, Texas A&M against Yale. Even though we've seen some good runs by the Ivy League in recent years, I'm going to go Texas A&M here. Didn't Princeton win a game a couple of years ago? If I remember right.
Princeton beat Arizona. I believe they beat Arizona in the first round.
And they were like a 15 or something, right?
Yeah, Arizona was ranked high that year.
I'm going to check.
Win.
Because I'm pretty sure, I remember they won one game like the year after St. Peter's won.
Mm-hmm.
And went on their run. All right. You ready for the next game?
Yes.
You get Ole Miss against North Carolina.
North Carolina.
All right. Then we got Iowa State Lipscomb. We're going to go Iowa State here.
From what I hear, Iowa State's going to play with half their backcourt. So that could be a problem for Iowa State. But I still think Iowa State will beat this Lipscomb school.
All right. Marquette, New Mexico.
I'm rooting for New Mexico and Richard Pitino. I think New Mexico will beat Marquette.
And we got Michigan State against Bryant. I like Michigan State here with the year they had. All right, that is it for the first region. We are off to the West. Florida, Norfolk State.
Florida. I think Florida's installed as a 28.5-point favorite. Is that correct?
Probably. We could actually check the preview right now.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the odds. This is courtesy of ESPN Sports Center.
Yeah. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, 28.5-point favorite.
All right. And now
a lot of people might take Norfolk State because Norfolk State's got a little talent. 20.5 is a little high, but I think, they might win by like 20. You might actually, if you take the points, you might actually win.
Now here's a good one. Two-time defending champ UConn against Oklahoma. I'm going to say Oklahoma wins this one. I'm pretty sure UConn lost a lot of talent from the last couple of years, right?
I agree. Especially Klingon, who went to the NBA, who's now with the Trailblazers.
All right. Next game for you is Memphis, Colorado State.
I like what I've seen from Memphis. Haggerty is a really good player. Great coaching, good coaching, Penny Hardaway. I'm going to go with Memphis here. Although Colorado State has been talked about a lot, but I think Memphis will come out on top. They are champions of their tournament. I think they'll end up winning this first game.
Then here's one from your guys at Rutgers Conference, Maryland against Grand Canyon. I'm going to say Maryland takes this one. Next up, you got Missouri against Drake.
Drake's the kind of team that I feel like can have an upset here and there. I feel like Drake could beat Missouri. I really do. Was it last year when we saw Drake win a big game in the tournament?
I don't even know. Some of these teams go like every year, right?
Right, like you've seen Drake, you've seen like you'll see Drake like pop up here. Like you don't hear them, you don't hear about them. That's the thing about the tournament. You hear about them during you don't hear about them during the regular season, but you hear them in the tournament, which is the idea. You want to hear about these kind of schools in the big games.
Next up, we got Texas Tech against UNC Wilmington.
Texas Tech.
Yep, I was just gonna say that.
Oops, I'm sorry. You were supposed to go.
Yep, I'll take the next two.
Yeah.
Kansas against Arkansas. Isn't that Calipari now?
Kyle
Right?
yourself.
I'm gonna say with his experience, both their experience, it's gonna be Arkansas moving on.
All right. Yeah, I had Arkansas too going against St. John's.
And of course, the one local school, St. John's against the first timer Omaha. Let's go with St. John's. All right, now we're going all the way back to the top for the East. Brandon, you. Duke against the winner American and Mount St. Mary.
I think Duke's an overwhelming favorite. I'm going to go with Duke.
Even if Cooper Flag doesn't play.
Even if he doesn't play, because you still got Noble, who's a really good player.
Yep, then Mississippi State Baylor. I'm going to say Mississippi State in this one. Oregon against Liberty.
Oregon, because they're brilliantly coached. Dana Altman's one of the best. He always recruits really good players. I think Oregon will move on.
Then for me, Arizona against Akron. With their field in the past, I'm going to actually go Akron.
Oh, wow. Akron. There you go.
And now BYU against VCU.
I'm going to go BYU.
The school of former Jet failure Zach Wilson.
That is right. Yeah, Zach Wilson.
I hear he likes doing inappropriate things with women.
Right.
Especially their moms.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Wisconsin against Montana. I'm going to go Wisconsin here.
I believe Wisconsin's marked as a 17.5-point favorite.
And you got St. Mary's and Vanderbilt.
St. Mary's and Vanderbilt. I'm going to go with the upset here. Wait, let me just pull up the line here. I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to go with the St. Mary's. I think St. Mary's, and the St. Mary's is actually the favorite by 4.5. So I think St. Mary's can pull this one off.
Wow. So now we go with Alabama. Shout out to my cousin Giacomo, alumni against Robert Morris. Gotta go Bama here.
Oh,
Roll Tide.
They're going to crush Robert Morris.
Gotta get a Roll Tide out of you, Brandon.
I don't know how it goes.
You just have to say it.
Roll Tide. More like
I got a video of you saying it a couple of years ago. I have a video of you saying it a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
No, but Alabama, they're really coached well. I mean, Nate Oates is a very good coach, and they got some good talent. They really do. Sears is really good.
Yep.
I think they could go to at least the Sweet 16 for sure.
And remember, until a couple of years ago, they were just a football school.
Now they're a basketball school, man. See, those are the schools that are like big deals. The basketball, football schools. Like like a school in Kentucky. That's just a basketball school for the most part. I mean, their football program's not very good, you know.
Same thing with Duke. Like, good example, the Giants took Daniel Jones out of Duke, and everyone's saying, "Why are you taking a quarterback out of a basketball school?"
Mm-hmm.
Now let's move right on down to Midwest. Houston against SIUE.
A school that a lot of people have never even heard of before.
Who is that anyway?
I think it's, Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville?
I'm going to look right now.
I think, yeah, Southern Illinois University Edwardsville.
Yep, you're right.
They're gonna get crushed at Houston. Although you never know. That's the beauty of the tournament, is you never know. You could see an upset anytime. But remember, Houston is brilliantly coached. Kelvin Sampson's one of the best.
Yeah.
Always recruit really good three-point shooters. I think they can really blow the doors off of SIUE here.
Want to hear something actually funny? They're both the Cougars.
That's right. That's right.
And now Gonzaga against Georgia. I'm going to say Gonzaga wins this one.
You know, Gonzaga, I feel like is the team that they had their run, but now I feel like it's a different era now, where I feel like that other team is going to go far. Like they used to go to the Final Four, they used to go to the championship a lot, but I feel like their time they had a little bit of a pause with that lately.
Yeah.
So I mean, you never know, but I think this is UConn's to you. Like UConn was the last couple of years.
Yep.
Gonzaga had that time, a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. All right, Brandon. It's Clemson against McNeese.
A lot of people have taken McNeese. I'm also going to go McNeese, and I think we just saw news today. Who do they have? They hired. So the McNeese head coach has been hired by NC State. So pretty good hire. So he'll coach this game and the rest of the tournament, and then he'll move on to NC State. I believe is that right? The report?
I have to look.
I believe I did see a report, but I don't know if that was accurate though.
Before we get on to the next game, I'll look.
Yeah.
McNeese State way to become NC State's next head coach. You are correct.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think State could be a good program next year. I think they usually are a good program. They just not this year.
Yep. So next game is Purdue against High Point. I'm gonna say Purdue. What was it last year? Was it last year they came back from getting knocked off by FDU?
I believe so. Yeah.
That they made it to the championship and lost.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact: every one seed to lose to a 16 has made it to the national championship the next year.
Right.
Virginia won, and then Purdue lost.
That Virginia won 2019.
Yeah, they were the year right before COVID started.
That was a good team. Kyle Guy, he had a good team that year.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up winning the national championship. So yeah, they ended up having a good run, really good run.
Yep. Then for you have Illinois against the winner of the game tonight.
Yeah, Xavier, Texas, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to go the winner of Xavier, Texas in this one.
All right. So next we got Kentucky against Troy. I'm going to say Kentucky takes this one.
Mm-hmm.
UCLA against Utah State.
For the history, for the name, going with UCLA. You just think UCLA is going to win everything, because they're UCLA. They have a great basketball reputation. So I'm going to go with UCLA on this one.
All right, and then the last game of the round 64 is Tennessee against Woodford. I'm going to go Tennessee.
And our good friend Tony, you know what he picked for his tournament winner?
Did he actually pick Woodford?
No, I'm just kidding.
He probably didn't even make one.
Well, he had Wolford versus Omaha in one of the rounds.
On his flip phone.
So
all
now
right.
To the second round?
Yep. We'll go all the way back to where it all began. All right, Brandon. Alabama State against Louisville.
Alabama State. I think they're the Cinderellas of this tournament.
If that actually happens, they'll be the first ever 16 seed to win a game in the round of 32.
Yeah.
All right, UC San Diego against Texas A&M. I'm going to go Texas A&M in this one. North Carolina, Iowa State. Brandon.
North Carolina. I mean, the way they played yesterday, they could play anybody. They shot the doors off of everybody.
I looked. It was 47-23 at halftime.
It was 47-23 at half. And then it just kept going in the second half.
Yeah, let's check mid-bracket update on the first 4 game going on right now. At half, it's 48-38 Mount St. Mary's. Now back to the bracket. New Mexico against Michigan State. Let's go Michigan State. Florida, Oklahoma, Brandon.
Florida.
Then we're going to go with Memphis against Maryland. I'm going to go Memphis wins. Drake, Texas Tech.
Huh. If you're a St. John's fan, you're hoping for Drake to win.
So is that your pick?
For the love of local New Yorkers, I'm going with Drake.
They're going to beat the school of one of the most famous football players right now, in your opinion.
Who?
Who's a famous Texas Tech alumni?
Oh, Patrick Mahomes.
Yes. It's so funny. This is supposed to be a basketball show, and we keep referencing other sports. So next up is Arkansas at St. John's. Let's go with the Johnnies. All right. Duke against Mississippi State.
Duke.
Then for Oregon, Akron, I'm going to go Oregon.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Did you want to say something on Duke?
No, I mean, if Duke is healthy, they're gonna win. But if they're missing Noble and Flag, they're not gonna win. But Noble's healthy. Question is Flag. They're saying Flag is gonna play, so they should be good.
Yep. When's their first game?
I believe is it tomorrow? I think
Friday at 2:50.
Yeah, Friday at 2:50, which is a good time. It's a very good time actually.
It's the return of the random start times.
Yep.
All right, off to the next one for you, Brandon. BYU against Wisconsin.
Badgers.
All right, next up is St. Mary's in Alabama. Roll Tide. No, you'll never hear me say this again, Brandon, so don't get used to it.
Oh, you just hope they don't get bounced in the first round by Robert Morris.
All right, Houston against Gonzaga.
Oh, that's a good game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Houston. I don't know. A lot of people think Houston's probably the best team in the NCAA. I think they got vulnerabilities, but I think they could go really far.
All right, so next up is McNeese against Purdue. Let's go Purdue. And your next game is the winner tonight against Kentucky.
I'm going to go the winner of tonight. Wins game against Kentucky.
And UCLA, Tennessee. I'm going to go UCLA. Remember they almost made that wild run to the championship a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
After being their first 4 team?
Yep.
All right, we're off to the next round. I believe this is the Sweet 16. Alabama State, Texas A&M.
Alabama State.
Are you going to make them the winner?
No, I don't know. I have to see how it progresses.
All right, North Carolina, Michigan State. Let's go North Carolina. Tony would actually pick Alabama State to win the whole thing.
And you win a lot of money, too.
All right, Florida, Memphis.
That's a good game.
Yeah.
I think most people will probably pick Florida in that one. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was close.
So we're going Florida?
Go Florida, yeah.
All right. Next up, Drake St. John's. I have a feeling Drake is going to end the St. John's run.
Mental party at 2? Party at 2. Oh, sorry.
All right, Brandon. Duke against Oregon.
Duke.
Bama, Wisconsin. Let's roll Tide again.
And we're doing the Sweet 16 now?
Yep, there's a Sweet 16 at the moment. Houston, Purdue.
Houston.
And I'm going to say UCLA wins to get into this round. So now we're all right up to Elite 8. All right, Brandon. Alabama State against UNC.
Oh, that's a good one. Alabama State, UNC, well, UNC Wilmington? Oh, no, UNC University of North Carolina. Okay. That's a good one.
You pick Alabama State again.
Well, since we're a podcast, since we're doing this for fun,
Yeah.
I think we should go with Alabama State.
I have a feeling you're going to be your national champion pick.
No, I don't know yet. We'll see how it progresses.
All right, I'm going to say Florida wins against Drake.
Florida wins against Drake. So you have Florida going to the Final Four.
Yep. Then you got Bama against Duke.
Duke.
No more roll tide for Giacomo.
It's going to be tough to beat Duke. I mean, you never know, but Duke's when healthy, they're fire.
Then I'm going to say it's Houston beating UCLA. How about this? We have 3 number 1s in this Final Four. Take your pick, Brandon. Which one do you want?
We have 3 number 1s in Alabama State.
Yeah.
All right, so wait, what are we up to?
We're up to Final Four.
Okay. I'm picking, so it's Alabama State versus
Florida.
Florida. That's a good one. For the love of basketball, I would love to go with Alabama State to the national championship.
All right. And I picked Duke.
So we have an Alabama. Oh no, okay. So we got an Alabama State Duke national championship. That would be great, man. You'd make a lot of money if you picked Alabama State to win the national. Well, if you had them making the Final Four, but if you had the grand prize of them winning the national championship, you'll win a lot of money.
All right, you make the pick for the winner.
Okay. I think this game goes to double overtime. Goes to double overtime. Comes down to a last-minute buzzer beater. I think Alabama State loses to Duke with Cooper Flagg hitting the biggest shot of his college career. So Duke is our national champion for the 2024-2025 college basketball season.
And what's your tiebreaker?
Tiebreaker?
How many total points?
Well, there's no ties in college basketball.
No, look at what it says on the screen.
I can't see because I'm in the studio.
How many total points will be scored in the national championship?
Oh, good call. I think the score will be 80-77.
So is that 157, something like that?
Yeah. And folks, you have your J&B Sports Podcast National Championship Tournament brackets. We are glad to bring it to you as always. And this bracket has been sponsored by our good friends at Sarava Broadcasting.
All right, I'll stop the sharing after I stop laughing.
So, John, print out that bracket, send it to everybody, send it to hey, we picked Alabama State to win. We picked Alabama State to go to the national championship.
You're
against.
probably gonna think, "What's wrong with you?"
But you listen, that's the idea. In this tournament, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. So I think seeing what Alabama State did last night, they'll be like, hey, we can compete. We could at least go to the Sweet 16.
If they get to at least the Sweet 16, I'll buy you a drink when we go to Texas. You can save that for when we're going in a month.
Yeah. This is going to be a fun next couple of weeks with the NCAA tournament. It's always a great time. Wall-to-wall action.
We'll be doing periodic shows covering maybe after each round. What do you think?
We'll be with you. At least one of us will be with you from each round. We'll be with you periodically throughout this NCAA tournament.
Yep, we'll do at least Monday after the first weekend.
Yeah. So it will be a fun couple of weeks. The tournament has gotten, and I just want to say this one thing. The tournament has become the tournament is like a tournament within a tournament. Meaning, you see coaches that are coaching like mid-major schools that are not like not big name schools. Then if they win a couple of games in the tournament, you see them become coaches at these bigger schools. Like look at the St. Peter's coach. Was it Shanine Holloway?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Seton Hall coach now. Seton Hall coach. Had St. Peter's going to the Elite Eight.
I'm actually going to look that up while we're still on.
Yeah, I think it was that was the year, a couple of years ago, it was to the Elite Eight. And Shanine Holloway then got promoted to Seton Hall coach. So
Elite Eight in 2022.
That was a fun tournament.
And they lost to UNC that year.
Yeah, that's when they had that big man. I forgot his name. He destroyed St. Peter's in that Elite Eight game.
You know, I remember which kid on that St. Peter's team, Eddard, or whatever his name was.
Eddard. Yeah, it's funny. Did you see Doug Eddard's bracket?
I don't think I did.
Doug Eddard has turned out to be a celebrity, man. He's turned out to be a big deal.
I think he transferred out after that year.
Doug Eddard picked Houston to win the whole thing.
I'm looking at the celebrities provided by ESPN. Let's see, you got Stephen A. Smith, Florida. Scott Van Pelt, Florida. A lot of Florida. Jason Kelsey picked Michigan State. We definitely are in for a good tournament this year.
There's always a storyline in every tournament. And this year, I feel like there's a lot of expectations around here, especially in the New York metropolitan area. We have St. John's, making that historic run this year.
Yep, I did not see them winning the Big East this year. I thought it was going to be UConn again.
Them winning the Big East was a big deal. It really was a big deal. I mean, some years when you have a team that wins all the big tournament, the conference tournaments, and then, doesn't think, St. John's, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for them.
Especially considering you have the last two champs in your conference.
Right. They haven't won it in 20 years?
25 years was the last time they won the Big East.
That's right. 2000 was the last time they won their Big East title.
Yep, when me and you were babies.
Yes.
Probably picking our nose.
Right. But John, this is a great show.
That?
Yeah. This has been a great, tournament prediction show. And like I said, we'll be with you throughout the tournament. Reels tournament. Maybe we'll even have some live watch parties, not watch party, but reels of us watching games at the bars.
Yep. We'll probably be at a bar or two watching a game over the next couple of weeks.
This will be a fun couple of weeks. So I always thought of this. This is the time of year where you have the tournament. Then you get baseball starting soon. The NBA, NHL playoffs. The weather gets warm. The NCAA tournament is the start of something great, where it's just you get everything going again. The playoffs for basketball, hockey. The weather gets warmer. You get to go to the beach, take a walk. Things get nice now.
And then don't forget, in a few months, you have the World Cup in the U.S.
That's right. And I believe the World Cup is going to be held at MetLife this year. Is that correct?
The finals at MetLife.
It was
That's
it's
correct.
this year or next year. I thought it was next year.
Nope, this year.
Really, this year? And I bet those tickets at MetLife are going to be off the charts expensive.
I was looking at a random group game and it was like $700.
If you're a big hot soccer fan, it's probably worth it. It might be cool to go because you don't get this all. You don't get this at all. I mean, this is like a once in a lifetime thing.
Yep. But you gotta remember, it will not be called MetLife the World Cup. It will be New York, New Jersey Stadium.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget, we also got the NFL draft next month, which is going to be. We'll do some shows for that, as
Yep.
we got a lot to get to in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
And this is John's favorite time of the year because you got baseball starting March 27th. Well, actually, it started today technically.
Yesterday, actually.
Yesterday in Tokyo, I believe
Yep.
the Dodgers won both games.
Yep. And we'll probably do a live show from Arlington, Texas in about a month.
Yes,
We're a good friend from Sarava Broadcasting
yes.
and special guest in the corner.
Corner.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for joining the show today. This has been a great show. We'll have this uploaded on any podcast application. We're gonna start uploading this stuff to Spotify because we were told by some fans that the podcast hasn't been uploaded on Spotify. So we're gonna have it uploaded on Spotify, and then we'll get it rolling for the next few shows. But this has been a great show, John. Thank you so much for joining as always. We'll talk soon. Enjoy the tournament.
Go Alabama State.
Go Alabama State, man. Get your money, get your pockets ready because you're going to have a lot of cash when they end up winning the championship.
You should put a bet in tonight.
I don't promote betting here on the JMB Sports Podcast, but I got to say, put $1 on because you win a lot from $1 if they do win the championship. They're like plus 50,000 to win the whole thing.
You put $1 on them to beat Auburn first. And see where it goes.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Do it and then send me a picture.
John, thank you for joining as always. We'll talk soon.
Yep, good night.